From the dawn of time they came, moving silently down through the ages, living many secret lives, struggling to reach the time of the gathering when the few who remain will battle to the last. No one has ever known they were among us until now. Join us as we venture into the unknown, into a world of ageless heroes, timeless beauty, and darkness.
Where do I come from?
Where a legendary swordsman seeks the ultimate prize of infinite knowledge and holds the fate of the world in his hands. From the producers of the original Highlander films comes the dawn of an all-new series, Highlander. The making of Highlander, the series, will continue in a moment. We now return to The Making of Highlander, the series. In 1986, the Highlander films introduced a world of immortal beings locked in deadly struggle between good and evil. This fall, the epic saga continues with an all-new immortal hero.
Okay, guys, stand by for rehearsal.
Adrian Paul stars as Duncan MacLeod, an immortal hero from the past.
I think Duncan is a hero. I think the reason he's a hero is he has vulnerabilities, but he's also fearless.
In the series' first episode, guest star Christopher Lambert reprises his powerful screen role as the original Highlander, Connor MacLeod.
You can't stay out of the game, Duncan. You've tried before.
Connor in the first episode is like what Sean Connery was in Highlander 1. He's probably the mentor of Duncan MacLeod, who is part of the same clan, but different time, different year.
Son is mine. Protecting Tess is my job.
Connor was his mentor, and they've been through a lot of war and battle and pain together.
I know you loved her, but you can't keep them from dying. They all do.
We were very careful to try and create a show that is in the true spirit of Highlander.
1 sec, please. And action.
Everything that there is in the Highlander movie is going to be in the Highlander series. There are special effects, there are flashbacks. When you cut off some guy's head, there's the magic of the quickening.
Mac!
He's dead.
Alexandra Vandernoot portrays MacLeod's great love, Tessa.
Tessa, you're the most wonderful woman I've known in my entire life.
All 400 years?
Well, 400. Well, it won't be 400 for another 4 months.
She's been with him for 12 years, and she always thought she was going to die before him. And now she realizes that he can be killed too by another immortal, and that's something she never would think about.
Tessa, I want you to leave.
What?
There's no way you could have known what this was going to be like.
Well, I have an idea now. Damn you!
Duncan is very much in love with her. He doesn't want to see her hurt.
We haven't been properly introduced, but you'll get to know me, my dear.
When you go through the door, the Highlander door, you never know what's going to be on the other side. People aren't who you think they are. Good guys may not be good guys. Every time you tune in, you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a surprise, but it's going to play by the Highlander rules.
The secret life of the Immortals is accidentally discovered by a teenage thief, played by Stan Kirsch.
Richie is a streetwise, street-smart, 17, 18-year-old guy who's had kind of a rough time growing up.
If I let you out of here, I do not want anyone coming around asking about your little fantasies.
That is the deal.
I think Duncan finds him very much as a young Duncan. He's brash. He's very quick with talk. He has a sense of humor. And Duncan finds that very beguiling, I think.
Action, Christopher.
Damn, Sir Lancelot. When Richie's first confronted with these Highlanders, he's just freaked. He can't believe what's going on. I'm on, like, America's Funniest Home Videos, right?
Sorry, Duncan, but this one is mine.
Oh, man, these guys are out there.
As the adventure of the Highlander continues, MacLeod must face the wrath of evil immortals determined to destroy him.
Well, he's pure evil, a huge villain, a giant villain, a handsome villain. He's just bigger than life. You know, he's a great villain.
Appearing as the sinister immortal Slan Quince is former Night Court funny man Richard Moll.
Slan Quince is an immortal. That means he's been around for a mighty long time.
You know what some wags call me? Slam the cat. Because I like to play with my victims first.
Yes, I want to get a hold of Tessa because I want to shake up Duncan MacLeod, make him worry, so he doesn't do too really well in the final sword fight.
Oh, you slow Slan, come on!
Slan is out for every other immortal head that he could find, even the evil immortals. He's an evil immortal, because there can be only one!
Yeah, I think that the evil immortals in the film The Highlander are exactly what we're doing every week. They are bigger than life. They are as bad as you can imagine.
The world of the immortals is not ruled by men alone. Rock star Joan Jett appears as the series' first immortal woman and MacLeod's mysterious protege, Felice Martin.
If I were to take your head right now, I would receive all your knowledge and strength. That's the quickening.
I'm afraid I don't have very much knowledge or strength.
Guess I better wait a while.
Is there any way of telling if she'll be good or
evil?
There are people dueling on bridges. There are people fighting battles the way they learned in the 16th century.
MacLeod! Not all the Highlander villains are immortal. Human criminals also cross the path of MacLeod, including guest stars Dustin Nguyen and Peter DeLuise.
Go for your gun and I'll make you eat it.
I think what this show is about is this ultimate battle of good and evil.
The world is within my grasp.
The Making of Highlander, the series, will continue in a moment. We now return to The Making of Highlander, the series.
Duncan. Father, No. Save your strength. You fought well. You fought like a MacLeod. I wanted to be part of the victory. You will. You'll be part of a great victory. I always thought there'd be more. Duncan.
My job is amazingly satisfying because I'm given a new thing to research and design each week. Each episode presents a whole new era to deal with in the flashbacks.
This man needs water!
Hush up, Spy.
He's dying of thirst!
You'll be dying of more than that if you don't hush up.
And we've had an awful lot of fun dealing with the flashbacks and all the shows to date.
As you can see, I change my look every time I do a period piece. It's actually quite nice.
As a designer, it's always challenging to do any kind of period work, especially within the context of taking a character which is contemporary and moving them back and forth in through varying periods.
We've been in an ancient Chinese temple. We were in the Scottish Highlands for his first death and did a black hut in the Highlands of Scotland.
It is a miracle. No, it is the work of the demon master of the world below.
Father!
No, you're no bear of mine. You're no my son. You're no my son.
As each new director comes in, I'll walk through the sets with them and familiarize them as to how things are used, and some suggestions occasionally to solve stunts that will involve the set itself.
The research that we go into is rather extensive. We go back and through art history or any pictorial representations whatsoever, we go back and try to find out as accurately as possible what they did in fact wear. A particular episode with Joan Jett, for instance, we've got her in disguise through a great part of it.
That's much better. But remember, this isn't an Olympic event. There's no medal for placing second. Anything and everything is allowed.
Like that?
Yeah, just like that. Never forget you have two hands.
And then when she comes in for her killings and comes in as the immortal that she is, her look is completely different.
Felicia?
What?
I didn't recognize you. What?
Must be the outfit. I kind of like it. It's more me.
The style of this production is extremely well thought out, right from the lighting right down to the costuming and sets. It's extremely stylized and very, very precise to have a very specific effect on the audience. I wince a lot when things have to be destroyed. The sword case, for one. I mean, I just have a nice place in my heart for that. We've destroyed this lion behind me. And as the show goes on, more and more of this set will be destroyed and rebuilt.
The design and safety of the series' numerous stunts are overseen by stunt coordinator John Wardlow.
I'm an odd person in the sense I'm a stunt coordinator, but I really don't like violence for violence sake. I like the idea that this in some ways is a fantasy, and it gives me license to do bigger and more exciting things than if I was trying to depict reality.
Although most dangerous situations employ the use of stunt doubles during filming, many stunts are performed by the actors themselves. Each step is carefully rehearsed and double-checked to be certain that the highest safety precautions are maintained at all times.
Viewers in the series will see almost as much action from the scripts that I've been reading as I saw in Highlander 1. We intersperse our stories with quite a bit of action. I'm looking forward to doing this series because we're dealing with immortals, so I can be a little more aggressive.
From Errol Flynn to Darth Vader, legendary swordmaster Bob Anderson has trained and directed Hollywood's greatest for more than 40 years.
I pride myself in being one of the few people in the business with sufficient swordplay background to be able to train actors to not only look authentic on the film, but also to be safe.
It is dangerous because you think of a 4-foot, 6-foot sword being swung at you. If you miss and somebody else. The problem is the safety factor is involved. Bob is very good at safety factors.
I've seen him within 3 days bring an actor who has had no experience at all with a sword into being a very safe actor. And part of it is learning to make the strikes against the sword not as hard as they appear on film.
Adrian has got that combination of youth, the physique, which is extremely attractive, a lovely personality, and also highly coordinated, very well trained.
I like to challenge Bob. It's a lot of fun because then I get into the situation of a real fight. You know, when we're playing around, I'll do things that may surprise him, or he'll try and surprise me.
He is the most talented physical actor I've come across in the whole of my career.
This battle is mine!
Mine now.
Taught him well. What happens is when you're choreographing a routine is you do it slow time by numbers. Every villain that comes in, every guest artist that comes in has a different sort. So it keeps the prop department pretty busy trying to find all these swords. We've got Pat O'Brien, who is the prop master, and his job is to research the weapons.
Based on the feature film, the swords are probably the most important prop that we have to deal with in the series. When we get the sword originally, we have a real sword. We then have to have aluminum blades made for it. Those are done through our special effects coordinator.
Our biggest area of working together with Bob Anderson is probably the sparking sword scenario. It's kind of a very involved piece. Essentially what we have to do is get cables running up his wardrobe. Then it runs back to the welding box, which is usually about 15 or 20 feet away off camera to one side or the other. I think people are going to get a pleasant surprise with what they see in Highlander, the series. I think they're going to enjoy the action and find it quite exciting.
I take pride in my work.
You're a very clever girl.
The Making of Highlander, the series, will continue in a moment. We now return to The Making of Highlander, the series.
I think he was very powerful, and he gave to the movie something very strong and very rare and very new.
He's a dedicated actor and a dedicated swordsman.
You and me. Now.
I think we'd all like to think that we're immortal, that we're invincible, that nothing can happen to us. And that's the lives that these guys really lead. And it's not always so pleasant.
After 12 years, is it that simple for you?
Of course not. But you didn't know.
I do now.
It will happen again.
I don't care.
Tessa. I love you.
If the good wins, we have an incredible future for the planet of peace and hope and everything you can imagine. And of course, if the evil wins, it's the worst case scenario.
Why does this Slan person want Duncan? Please, don't say anything in front of the lady. Let me just go in the next room and crochet while you have cigars and brandy and talk about beheadings.
I told Tessa some of it. I thought I was out of it. She didn't need to know all the rules.
You're not out of it anymore. There can be only one. Remember that rule.
I love playing a villain. Playing a villain is fun for me because that's all I used to do in the old days. Perhaps you don't realize that. But it's true. I used to play guys that would have your liver for breakfast. Guys that would stand up and block out the sun.
Oh, still worry about that pretty face of yours.
Just protecting my most valuable asset.
It's a swashbuckling hero era that none of us have lived in, but all of us have seen and all of us find very attractive.
What if you did live for 1,000 years and never changed, you know, and you've seen history being made, you've seen everything.
I'm Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Thanks.
I think that their expectations should be that the show has the same action, and it will. Certainly the same visuals, and it will.
improved over the years, McCloud. Oh, God!
I think they're going to find it exciting. I think they're going to enjoy what there is, the effects, the post work, which is going to be quite involved.
One of the exciting things about the show is that we're going to be using a lot of special effects that you would only see in films, and this is going to be like a first for TV.
I think basically all the elements combined make the show very unique and have a look and a style all of its own.
I think they'll love the action, they'll love a lot of what we're creating, but I think they'll love the fantasy. I think it's a great fantasy.
I am your son! No! And you never were! Where do I come from? 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 Where do I come from?
The fans of Highlander who are really seriously into the mythology of it, and they're great because I run into these guys at conventions and comic book fairs and science fiction stuff and fantasy, and I mean, they know the movies inside out, and they're always on our tail to make sure that we're consistent all the way through the stuff. We are very conscious of that. I want them to watch this show and say, that's Highlander.
I guess I'm gonna have to kill this kid.
The epic tales of the Highlander continue this fall with all new adventures.
Well, if you want to see an action series, this is the one to watch.
I think it's going to be an exciting show.
It's over now.
You got the bad guys, the good guys.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
There can be only one.
Highlander.